And welcome back to the channel. In this video I'm going to be riding the Ride One Up Cafe Cruiser, as you see it right there. Haven't ridden this bike in a while, so it's nice to get out on it. And let's hop on and I'll tell you what we're going to talk about today, or what I want to discuss. And it's an interesting question. I had somebody comment on a video about this, and so I thought I'm going to do a video on this. Okay, so on this video I do want to talk about e-bike. I'm going to call it e-bike addiction, or how many e-bikes is too many to own. Had somebody comment on one of my videos about having bought a bike back in December of 2022, the Aerial Rider Kepler. And here we are in August of 2025 and wanting another bike. Well, it didn't take me quite that long. Well, I guess it did take me a while to get from the first bike to the second one. But after that it went, I started getting more faster. So it is fun, and when you see other people riding bikes, you're thinking, well, gee, I kind of like that one, But what happens is, in my case, I'm going to give you my story. There's no real definitive answer on how many's enough. Some people are just satisfied with one, and they're good with that. But what happened in my case, I'm going to tell you this story if you didn't already know it. So I got my first bike in November. It was a Black Friday deal of 2019. So coming up on 6 years, just about here, basically. And I did some research online, watched YouTube videos and all. There wasn't as many bikes to choose from 6 years ago as there is now. And so the bike I went for, not knowing anything really about e-bikes. I had ridden traditional bikes for a lot of years when I was younger. But not knowing anything really about e-bikes, I got into it, was looking things up, and I wanted to get a bike that, was reliable, dependable, and, one that had a good name, a name brand that could be trusted. And so I ended up choosing the Rad Rover 4. And I got it on a Black Friday deal. It was regularly priced at $1,500. And I got it for $1,250. So $250 off. And I thought, oh, that's a pretty good deal. Squeaky brakes. I haven't ridden the Cafe Cruiser in a while. So, and anyway, so I bought the bike. And I got it pretty quick. I can't remember exactly how long it took, but it was pretty fast. The one thing that I had to purchase, though, because I wanted fenders on the bike, was fenders. There was no fenders. They didn't come with it at the time. You had to buy those extra. And they were $90 more for the fenders. They were on back order. So I bought those and just waited for them to come back in stock and then have them shipped. So I just bought them when they were on back order, and then they didn't take that long to come after I got the bike. Pretty quick. It wasn't more than a few weeks, I think, or something like that. If that much. I can't remember now, like I say, but it doesn't matter. But anyway, so I ended up, if you add it all up, I paid $1,340 for the bike, including the fenders. And so I had that bike for a while. And what happens is, one of the reasons why some people get a second or third bike is they start seeing things that they need on their bike. They find out that, hey, it doesn't have this or it doesn't have that. And in my case, it was climbing hills. The Rad Rover, as great a bike as it is, or was, I don't own it anymore. My friend Keith has that. I actually gave him the bike. That was his first e-bike. And the thing it was missing was hill climbing, right? It wouldn't climb hills, right? It didn't have the get up and go, and the hills in this area of Oregon are monsters, some of them, and basically mountains. And so I knew that I wanted another bike that's more powerful. So I did my homework. I really researched a lot, you know. Having known more now, having owned for a few years the Rad Rover, because this would be March of, or even before March, I should say, like probably Christmas time even of 2021. I mean, it might even have been before that, but it was a little while anyway, before that I started looking at bikes, you know, other bikes, and I specifically wanted something that could climb hills. And the Aerial Rider Grizzly was the bike that caught my eye, and I kept going back to it. As much as I looked at other bikes, I looked at Juiced, I looked at Super 73, I looked at so many. And the one that attracted me was the Grizzly because of that dual motor. And any reviews or videos that I saw on the bike or read talked about how great it was for climbing hills. So I thought, you know, that's the bike I think that I want to get. And so I looked around though at several, you know, models. I can't even remember what all offhand here, but I remember specifically like Juiced, and you don't want a Super 73, those don't have any power. And so eventually though, I got the Grizzly in mind. I tried to match, whenever I seen other bikes, to try to match, see if there's one that matches it or is better, and I couldn't come up with it. I kept coming back to the Grizzly. So eventually, when I was ready and had my mind made up, I'm just gonna buy it. It's $3,299. Never looked for sales, never got any discount codes, nothing, right? I just paid the flat price, whatever it was. And so when I went to buy it, I thought, okay, I'm ready to do it. I go to their site again, and of course it's out of stock. And so I thought, okay, I'll have to just keep an eye on it, check every once in a while. Maybe I was checking daily, I don't know. I probably anxious to get the bike, right? So, but I didn't want to buy it until it was back in stock, pay for it. So one day, you know, keep looking, it's back in stock. And this is probably the last week of March, and we're talking 2022. And there it is, back in stock. It only comes in one color, so you don't get a choice. It was the version 2. At that time it was just red, the only color. So I did it, I went for it, right? When I saw it in stock, paid $3,300, free shipping, and I had the bike within a week, delivered to the door. Really nice, you know. And so I had two bikes, and I had, you know, was finding myself riding that one basically all the time because it was awesome. Climbed hills. I don't own that one anymore either. That's also my friend Keith owns that one now. And then I got to my third bike, and you're wondering, well, he's got two now. He's got the one that's climbing hills. Why is he needing a third one? Well, I started having issues with the Grizzly, controller issues. First one controller, then the other, so I ended up having to get two controllers, and I was still under warranty, and got the new controllers, and the bike was fine again. So in the meantime, I'm thinking, well, you know, if the bike ever goes down and you want to ride, and that's the one, you know, I found myself riding all the time, basically. The Rad Rover, I had to take a back seat. And then you get used to the Grizzly, you know, the power and performance that it does, then you don't want to really go back. And so then I thought, you know what, I need a backup. Because if I want to ride and the bike's down for maintenance or whatever's wrong with it, like in that case, controllers, both of them. When one controller went out, I still rode the front motor for a while with it because it had a separate controller. Then it went out. So I thought, okay, there's something wrong with these controllers, right? So anyway, the company sends me the controllers and we're good after that. But I'm thinking, well, what if I have something like that happen again, you know, and I want to still ride? I'd like a backup, one that does kind of similar. And so I started looking into getting a direct drive motor instead of a geared motor. And I found, I don't know how I came upon the company. It might have been my brother telling me about it. I can't remember now, but I came across this company, Lyric Cycles. And I saw that they had a bike coming out that was called the Lyric Graffiti. And so I started looking at that one. So I'm checking that one out and keeping an eye on that one. And I was looking around at some other ones, again, that are similar. And I looked at I think I got down to the Onyx City 2. Was it the Onyx City 2? I can't remember if it was the Onyx City 2 or... And anyway, I think it was the Onyx City 2. And the graffiti, and I went for the graffiti. I liked it, what it had to offer. It was pretty similar in what it had to offer as far as speed and performance as the Grizzly. You know, it went about the same speed, 52 volt, but it was a direct drive motor. And I still own that bike today and love it. So anyway, that's why I got that. And so basically what I was going to mention as to why you might want multiple bikes. You might do different things, right? You might be commuting and have a bike like this one. Then you might say, well, I want to do some off-road trails and this bike isn't good. It doesn't have full suspension, you know, it's not really for off-road trails. So then you might want to get a mountain bike with a full suspension, you know. Or you could be looking at, you could also be looking at a cargo bike. Maybe you want to deliver cargo. Maybe you work for Uber or Uber Eats or whatever and want to deliver. Or maybe you just want to get your groceries and haul them home on the bike. So you need a cargo bike. Maybe you want to do some traveling to destinations that have trails. So maybe you want a folding bike to go to complement your other bike, which could be a commuter. Or maybe you want to get something like my Graffiti X that's more like a moped, some people might call it electric motorcycle, that has a little more get up and go, that can be a commuter and also give you some extra speed to keep up with traffic if you're riding on streets that are a little bit quicker, say 35 miles an hour, and don't have bike lanes. Maybe you feel safer riding a bike that can keep up with traffic. So then you want that style of bike. So there's reasons why you could also want a second bike. The downside is it can be expensive, right? Bikes aren't cheap. So that's the downside. Otherwise, it is a lot of fun. It's like stamp collecting. You want them all, but the problem is they're a lot more expensive than stamps, for sure. This isn't, unless you get collectible stamps that are worth, I guess I shouldn't say that they're not worth much, because some of those collectible stamps are worth a mint, but you get the point. It's like wanting to collect classic cars, which is cool too, right? So anyway, it's addiction. It's an addicting thing. It can be, but it's a fun addiction. It's not like a substance drug addiction or something like that. It's just addicting too, to get out and ride. It feels great, gets you out of the house, and just, I don't know, they're awesome. So maybe let me know in the comments, just how many bikes do you own, and are you stopping where you're at, or are you gonna still buy more? Even if I don't buy one, I'm always looking around, right? You're always looking to see what's out there and try to keep up with everything. I have a pretty good passion for e-bikes, so I'm always looking to see what's out there and where we're heading with everything. And so it's kind of fun though, I gotta say. All right, that's going to do it for this video, talking about e-bike addictions and giving you a little bit of my story getting into the e-bikes, and it may be something similar to what you have going on. I don't know, but you can let us know in the comments your thoughts, or maybe your journey through the e-bike community, and how you got there, and how you're continuing along, and how many bikes you have, and all that good stuff. Anyway, that's going to do it for this video. If you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button. If you'd like to subscribe to the channel, just hit that subscribe button. If you want to be notified as to when the next video comes up on the channel, just hit that notification bell. And as I mentioned, if you want to leave a comment on this video or any others that you've seen on the channel, go ahead and leave that in the comments below. Once again, thank you for joining me on this video. And until next time, be safe, everyone, and keep your wheels on the road. See you later.